Hello, I'm Monica Price and welcome to Cuppa TV. Today on the show we welcome Harvey Pope, who's put together an anti-bullying calendar to help raise awareness of this important issue. He's also joined by two of his models, Rachel and Joanne, who have both taken part in the photo shoot. We're then joined by a young designer who's creating waves with her unique and bespoke handmade dresses. She joins me today to talk about her latest creation, the poppy dress. We welcome Sarah Bryan. Now is Harvey Pope, a photographer who's put together an anti-bullying calendar to raise funds for Childline. And also joining him are two of the models from the calendar, Rachel and Joanne. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. We've got Harvey and Rachel and Joanne. Thank you so much. Welcome to Cuppa TV. So, I mean, what a fantastic idea, Harvey, and so wonderful, ladies, that you got involved with this. So let's start at the beginning, Harvey. How did it all begin for you?
Well, last year I was diagnosed with bipolar. All through primary school and secondary school, I sort of knew there was something different. Couldn't quite put my finger on it, but of course, when you go back to the 70s and 80s, you were always considered to be lazy, or you didn't bother, you weren't interested in learning, which is the exact opposite of how bipolar people feel. Soon as I had my diagnosis, I thought back to how I felt.
So it took all those years, Harvey, for you to be diagnosed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 43 now.
And just for those, sorry to interrupt you there, I just wanted to say, for those viewers who don't know what bipolar is, could you just give a brief explanation of what the condition is?
It's a very strong form of depression. I mean, I think most of the viewers would know somebody like Stephen Fry, who suffers from it. You can go into a lot of personal isolation if you're undiagnosed, if you haven't got the correct medication, for example. And I knew there was something not quite right. I was looking about 10-15 years ago, because I used to be a holiday park entertainment manager, and I did that for 5 seasons.
Wonderful.
I was also a warm-up man. I used to do the Children in Need programs at Pebble Mill.
Wonderful.
Close-up magician. And I had problems going forward with performing, to the point where I got to a regular gig one night, couldn't do it, stood at the doors, froze. I mean, I was shaking, sweat was pouring off me, and I thought something's got to be done. You know, I was in my 30s now, got myself to the doctors. Doctors had a look at all the possibilities, and since then I've been on medication for well over a year now, and it's made a massive difference.
So it took all those years though to discover that, Harvey. But from that though came this amazing and wonderful project, which, ladies, I've seen the photographs, they're amazing. But you know, you thought as a photographer, you would do something to raise awareness of bullying. And I mean, it is an issue, isn't it?
Most
we talk
definitely.
about it, but do you think, ladies, it's an issue?
Massive issue. I mean, personal experience, past and present, with my eldest daughter who's 13, and I think for us it touched both of our hearts, isn't it, really, and realised that something needs to be done. It took me a long time to realise that actually there's a person inside that I should love first, and this is showing my daughter that actually love from within and really don't care what anybody thinks about you. And I think after years of counselling and things, it's doing something like this is my way of saying I fought it.
It's a lovely way as well to put it, you know, love from within. Would you agree with that, Joanne? How did you sort of, you know, get involved with this?
I said, being a friend of Harvey's, and I was bullied from a very young age, and it just spiralled then through to high school. Always hated bullying. A lot of people don't realise how much it affects you in adult life as well.
You remember it, don't you?
Yes.
That's the thing.
But as well, at the time, that you always think it's your fault. You know, well, I must be doing something wrong. If they're all bullying me, it must be my fault. So you start hating yourself then, having no self-worth or self-respect, because you're this horrible person that everybody's bullying. So as an adult then, you lose your self-confidence, and it takes a lot to start building it back up again.
Isn't it? So as a photographer, Harvey, what made you think, I know, I'll do a calendar?
Well, it's like performing. but you're more in control of photography. It's not like jumping on stage in front of a couple of hundred people in a theatre or in a club room. You're in control. You can do it yourself. You can go away and edit the pictures. If you don't think that one's very good, chuck it away. No one's ever going to see it. And I just thought, if this was me, I would want to say to the bullies that I'm totally over it. I want to show them, and this is the reason why we did it in a sort of like a Calendar Girls style.
Yes, because you've done it in Calendar Girls style,
Yes,
haven't you?
we
Yes.
have. Yes.
Yeah, which
It was great.
it's a great one.
Absolutely liberating.
But from the Calendar Girls, though, it has spurred a lot of charities have done and organisations have done that. Why do you, ladies? I've got to ask you, because obviously you're the wonderful models that were in that calendar. Why is it so liberating? What made you feel
I think when you're naked,
Yes.
you're at your most vulnerable, aren't you,
Yeah.
as well? And because you choose to have what bits covered up, and it's not full frontal.
No.
But it is a way of sort of sticking your fingers up really and saying,
To
I
the
can do
bullies.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've called it, haven't you? Get over it.
It's called Get Over
Yeah.
It.
Yes. So why did you call it that?
It's sort of got a double meaning, really, because obviously it's saying to the bullies, get over it. I've moved on.
Yes.
I'm actually an adult now. I mean, there's been times where I've seen people in the streets where I've lived, gone shopping for the afternoon, and they've tried to stare me out. And I've thought, you're in your 40s. You've still got
still
this
trying to
issue.
shred that.
Yeah.
You just want to say
Get
And
over
of
it,
course-
move on. Yeah.
Yeah, the double
Right,
meaning
well,
is ladies
yes.
like Rachel and Joanne
Yeah.
have got over it.
Yes.
They've moved on.
Yeah.
They're happy.
Yeah. And as the calendar so how did it start? Did you get a call, ladies? What happened? Did he just phone you up and say that's it?
The infamous Facebook for me.
Yes.
Yes.
Facebook
Right,
message,
yeah.
plea. Has anybody been affected by this topic? And please come and help me. And yeah.
Sorry, it's never taken me so long to write a status on Facebook.
Yes. Because
Because
you wanted to get it right.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have put, do any of my friends, fancy getting their, and then
Yes. Take
I
your
can't
clothes
put
off.
that. Yeah.
Yes. No, that doesn't sound right.
I think I sat there for about 3 hours
yes.
thinking, no, come on, you've got to word this properly.
Yes.
And I have to say, it took literally 2 months to get a whole 12 months worth of ladies to come forward and just show support and to do
Yes.
it. And I'm absolutely knocked out by
And
how it's
all the
gone.
ladies that approached you, had they all gone through bullying like you
Yeah.
both have, and we'll expand on that, but
Yeah.
had they all had experience of bullying, Harvey?
I'd say we have 2 or 3 of the models that have come forward and say, well, I helped my best friend go through bullying, so I 100% understand how it feels. And again, they had no issues with sort of jumping in and saying, look, I've got nothing to be scared of. I will do anything.
Now, interesting, did you have any bullies come forward?
No.
Or anybody that admitted to being a bully?
No, it would have been nice.
That would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
It would. And we're sort of chatting earlier about this, about the reaction that we will get when the calendar comes out. Not so, concerned about what people are going to think of it, but more saying, now that we're more in sort of social media,
Yes, we are a social
Yeah,
media world.
definitely.
a lot of Facebook, and then people know, oh, she lives locally, etc., etc. But again, that's part of it. I've had nobody say, oh, do you know, I can't, sorry, I'm not going to do this because I don't want my friends seeing it.
And did you hesitate, Rachel? Was there any hesitation?
Not initially. No, not at all. I think the hesitation after of the photo being out there, and I think the insecurities that I had as a younger person all of a sudden were at the forefront of my mind, and I think it brought back a lot of emotion from then. And then actually I thought to myself, no, I've come too far, so I suppressed those feelings and thought, do you know what, I'm really proud of what I've done. This is the reason that I've done it.
Yeah. And you
So
can
there
show
you
other
go.
people
Yeah,
that it's
exactly.
okay too. And how about for you, Joanne? How did you think? Were you thinking, ooh, what's going to happen with it, or did you just go for it and
Just
just?
very nervous,
Yeah.
very nervous. At one point, I very nearly backed out, but I didn't want to let Harvey down because he needed his models there, and he's worked really hard on this project as well. But I'm so glad I did it.
Really?
I'm just so glad I
yes.
didn't back out at all.
Yeah. And are you the same, Rachel?
Definitely, absolutely. We all have said, do you need any more months? Can we do any more? It's amazing how many of us...
I think it's an extra 2, 3, 4. As you've got 12 models, haven't you?
Rachel's actually in 2.
Yeah.
He's so greedy.
Rachel's in her own month, and she's also done Christmas as well.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And again, so all 12, 12 ladies.
Indeed, yes.
So again, did you have any men come forward, Harvey, for it?
I put it out, as I said, on Facebook, inviting anybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not a single man came forward, because I think there is still a huge stigma attached to bullying. People say we don't live in a macho stroke sexist society, but you learn very quickly when you're doing what I've been doing that we still do. And I think the strangest thing for me is the fact that I was expecting all of the ladies to be very funny or very off with me at the shoots, because they will tell you themselves that here's a man that we know of him, we're not not the best of friends,
But you just knew of each other, but you didn't know personally, like for years and years and years and things, right?
That's it. And I got to asking a friend of mine, I've been friends with her from about 12 years old, and I said to her, are you quite happy? I've had this idea for this calendar, would you do test shots for me? Because I've spoken to the printers, and the printers want to see if the pictures are high enough resolution to go in and print in a calendar. No problem at all, I'll do it. Turn up at the house one Saturday morning, her husband's gone out, taking the daughter. And I said, you okay? Yeah. And you can tell when a really good friend is...
Something wasn't quite right.
It's not quite there. She's standing there in jogging bottoms and a t-shirt, nothing on underneath. She says, right, okay, I'll set all my gear up. It takes about 45 minutes. And she's still standing there, tapping her foot. She's looking around. And I said, look, don't lie to me. If you're not happy with this, if you're not comfortable, just say so. I said, come on, just tell me what's wrong. And she said, well, I spent about 10 hours cleaning my kitchen yesterday, and I've just found some more dirt. Excuse me for a minute. And at that point, she just whipped her t-shirt off and used the t-shirt to wipe this bit of dirt away. No. And I thought, if it's
so you had your answer.
Yeah.
It was fine. So she was more concerned about the kitchen, and presumably that's where the shot took place.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. But I mean, that's typical woman, really. As you know, we're worried about what everybody's going to think about things. But how about for you, Rach? Where was your? Because I've seen some pictures, but where were your pictures taken?
The first picture was taken in a pub, so that was started off very tame, and by the end we were all very joyous.
There was lots of imbibement involved in that one.
And my second was in Harvey's conservatory. And I will say his other half, Kate, is absolutely amazing with the giggles that came from her conservatory and women walking around half naked, bless her. She's been such a huge support as well, and they've done a great job, and it was just really, really good fun.
Sounds like it's been lots of fun.
It was, yeah.
And how about for you, Jen? Where's your picture taken?
Mine was in my kitchen. I wasn't the one that was paranoid about it. I did spend quite a few hours cleaning my kitchen too. But with the cake, I make cakes as a hobby. I find it very therapeutic, and I can just...
Yes, because yours is the picture with the beautiful cake. Did you make that cake?
No, I can't take credit for that. That was actually a false cake. So, but yeah, it was just really enjoyed doing it, and so that's my hobby. That's what keeps me going a little bit.
And now you put it all together. You had the 12 shots.
Yes.
Obviously you wanted to do more, but you put that all together. So what did you do then? How did you sort of compile it all together, Harvey? How was that?
I sort of obviously had to edit down some of the pictures. You're up till maybe 1 o'clock in the morning getting the picture exactly right. Sent them off to the printer. I mean, the printer has been absolutely amazing. He's gone so far out of his way to help us. I actually got to see the calendar for the first time this last weekend.
Yes, because we couldn't unfortunately bring it in today, but we'll have you back and you can show us the calendar.
And I have to admit, I had a very unmacho moment when I sort of started going through it, and when you start to see your work, you've put so much effort into something, it's just a fantastic
to see it,
moment.
actually come to fruition.
But there is an issue with it. I have to tell you.
Oh no,
Yes.
issues.
We have a very, very special guest coming on the night.
Is this an exclusive?
Um,
Is this your launch?
I'm afraid not, I can't tell you, no.
Oh!
And I thought, this is going to be fantastic. We can show all the press the finished calendar. We won't have an issue with this. And then I realised that our very special guest, who we wanted to keep secret until the night, had actually written the preface, which has gone right on the front of the calendar with a picture of them. So literally this calendar will be staying
Yes.
top
Under
secret
wraps.
until the launch night.
Until the launch. And when is the launch night?
That's October the 31st in Warwick.
Okay, October the 31st. Right, so not long, ladies.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, so this special, very special guest will be in attendance.
Yes.
But we're going to leave it there. We've got to take a quick break, ladies and Harvey, so just stay there. So
Okay.
we're going to take a quick break now, but come back and join me in just a minute. Welcome back to Cuppa TV. I'm still here with Harvey, Rachel and Joanne. So guys, before the break we were just talking about obviously the launch, which is going to be at the end of October the 31st.
That's right, yep.
In Warwick, so that's going to be exciting. Special guest who we won't tell us who it is. And you don't know, lady.
No
I
idea.
understand.
We were hoping that he would drop it today
Yes.
into the conversation, but
No, he's
No, he
staying
won't let us
tight
know,
there.
yeah.
Yep, sorry, yep.
So it's going to be launched and then the calendar will go on sale
That's right.
and you're going to give the proceeds of that sale to Childline.
That's correct.
So let's
yes.
talk about that, Harvey. So Childline, of course, raises awareness and deals with issues with children that have been bullied.
That's
Why
right.
was it important that you gave it to that particular charity?
I first started looking at all the things that the NSPCC do, and obviously bullying is all part of it. But the one thing that stands out for me with Childline is the fact that you can actually report it anonymously. So if you don't want to go to a teacher, you don't want to speak to, even your own parents, obviously every child has now got a mobile phone. So they can quite happily just dial the number and there'll be a counsellor on the end of the phone to help you straight away. And I think that's a fantastic thing. We seem to have lost anonymity,
Again, social media.
Yeah.
Everything's on Facebook.
Exactly.
I saw an interesting post actually about Facebook, and it was about, sort of touching on bullying, saying, we on Facebook we tell each other, we introduce our friends, we tell each other where we're going, where we are, what we've eaten, what we've done, what train station we're at, what coach station we're at. But if we did that to a person, total strangers, we do that. But if we did that to somebody on the street, you'd be considered completely bonkers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it's a strange phenomenon, isn't it? But I mean, social media is an important part of a child's life now.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
you've got a daughter, haven't
Yeah.
you, Joanne? And how old's your daughter?
She's nearly 13.
13. So again, an important part probably of her life. Does it worry you with the social media? And there has been, obviously, it's been linked to bullying and the ease of which just total strangers can start sending messages to people.
I mean, she's very aware. We've had the talk. The school are quite good, whereas the social media is concerned. Talking about all the problems that you can have, but she doesn't add anybody at all who she doesn't know. That is the strict rule. Even if it's a friend of a friend of a friend, you're not adding them.
Yeah, 'cause
It's only close friends and family who she adds onto Facebook. So hopefully we won't have the chance of cyberbullying, which is a thing that needs to be dealt with.
Because I mean, schools are very good. Colleges and universities, they have talks and they're given tips and help and support to deal with if you're being cyberbullied. But was that something you thought about when you were thinking about the calendar? Was that something in your mind, Harvey?
Yeah, I mean, so as the ladies were saying, social media has played a very good part in people's lives, but it can also be a massive evil as well. If you're not friends, say for example, with the right people at school, then you get bullied. But
Constant.
it doesn't have to be physical bullying. It doesn't even have to take place in school anymore.
See, that's interesting because there's been actually Hollywood films that have talked about the issue of cyberbullying and do you think that's a good thing? Rachel, do you think that films showing children being bullied and what they do you think that's a good thing?
Most definitely, because I think we were talking about this earlier, that when you are bullied, I think being bullied yourself, you can actually see the warning signs, and you can appreciate that you go very insular, you're very unconfident, from very quiet for a while. And I think some people, especially my daughter, was cyberbullied for a while. And she's 13, coming up to 14 now, and it was a couple of years ago. But actually she understood what was happening, and she could tell me, right, I'm being bullied on the internet, Mum. This, and
so
cleverly screenshotted the right messages and got that point across. I'm a bit of a technophobe, so for me, for her to see it out there on the TV and in different places, and at the school, I must admit the school that she goes to has a safeguarding that all parents can go to. Having seen that, I think it gave her the confidence to say, actually, yeah, that's happening to me.
And again, Harvey, do you think children will speak out? Do you think there's a tendency for children still to not perhaps tell parents, but to tell a stranger, like Childline? They'd rather tell somebody they don't know rather than perhaps go to the parents.
Yes, somebody completely anonymous. That's has to be the way forward. Unfortunately, it seems that as far forward as we've come with social media and what children see on the TV, how they're affected by soaps, etc. We're still back in the dark ages with bullying, and it's still going on.
We'd think it is something we would have eradicated now, but do you think it's something we could ever eradicate? Jen, what do you think about that?
Hopefully, but I think it needs to be put into place from nursery school even, talked about that it's wrong to bully. You know, and the same old thing, you know, how would you feel if it was you, if you were in their shoes? But until it's sort of brought into school, like sex education is and things like that, then I don't think it's going to carry on until it's looked at head on.
And how did it affect your daughter?
Luckily she wasn't bullied, God, sorry, lost my track.
No. But you've got you obviously know people around you, and like, you know, friends. Rachel, your child was bullied. How did it affect you, Rachel, as a parent?
I think initially my thought was, oh goodness, she's not going to go through the same that I did going through school. And it wasn't just at school; it's different stages of my life that I've been bullied. And there was a sense of angst at the beginning, and then I just sat myself down and thought, right, what I actually did was put myself back into her shoes and how she was feeling, and I gave her so much credit for actually coming forward and telling me, because I said the first step is actually admitting that you're being bullied, and I'm so proud of you, so proud that you've done this and we can work on it together. And we did, as a family, me, her dad, and even her little sister helped her through it in different ways. We could all see that she was upset, and went to the school and did different things and different techniques that I'd learnt along the years. It was nice. It wasn't nice to help her out, but it was. I was glad that I had the experience to be able to help her out, and that she trusted me enough.
And I mean, it's really important, is it, that the children have some kind of place to go, be it Childline or wherever, so that they've got a place to go to know that they're safe, really. And I think, as you said, because you've got past experiences, you can put yourself in their shoes, and you know how dreadful it can be. What are your hopes for the calendar, Harvey? What do you hope? The ladies are all keen to do it again by the looks of things.
I just want to see my picture. I've not even seen it.
You haven't? No, she hasn't seen it yet.
No. Oh, Harvey.
I know, it's terrible.
But that's good though, because obviously it's all very much under wraps. It's exciting. I was going to say, does that make it exciting for you? Yeah. So Harvey, but what are your hopes for the calendar?
I hope it's going to raise awareness that it's still going on, because it's very much something that's brushed under the carpet. There's a lot of parents who don't see what goes on with bullying, and I think it has to be said that the bullying doesn't start at school. It actually starts right from when the child is old enough to speak, and I think that is actually part of the parents' job, to stop them becoming bullies. And when people buy this calendar and see how brave these ladies have been, it might just hopefully flick a little switch in their head.
And again, it would be interesting, wouldn't it, if a bully was, bought the calendar or showed interest in the calendar as a grown up. Perhaps they were bullies when they were younger.
Yes.
And now they've grown up and
Don't realise just how badly they affected somebody.
Yes. And do you think they do think that? Do you think
And there's a couple of that I've come across that I went to school with that tortured me at school, basically. They were horrible. Now as an adult, they're
you've seen them.
full of hugs and nice to see you, and you know, I'm a better person, I can rise above it now, and you know, and it's a hug back and hi, how you doing? Can't say I would have done that 10, 15 years ago, because I don't think I would have done.
Did you ever talk through with them though, Joanne, about the fact that, you know,
No,
do you
because
realise that you bullied me when I was at school?
I've still got that thing. I still get anxiety, and from being bullied, you know, that's what I'm saying about, you know, I'm 41 now, and it still affects my life from being bullied, because I'm still not a very confident person. Around people that know me, I'm life and soul, but if I'm put in a situation where I don't know anybody, my confidence goes. And I think I've got to come across it one day. I've got to say, you know, you did something horrible to me as a kid.
What do you think, Harvey? Because I mean, it has a profound effect on people's lives, doesn't it? And I think people, perhaps, do they realise how much effect it has? I mean, we're sitting here talking about it. Do you think? What do you
I would
think?
hope so. I think I would hope that they, one day in later life, and I would hope that having children, I think, changes a lot of opinion of people and how they act. And I just hope that one day they sit down, look at their own children and think, actually, I would hate for my child to be bullied. Why, in God's name, did I do that to another human being, really?
Because I mean, there's. I remember that we have an emotions expert, John Rushton. We were talking about that. We touched, and often the bully was bullied.
Yeah.
You know, it's a strange thing that somebody who was bullied becomes a bully. But with the calendar, Harvey, you're going to hopefully, you know, change that, make people aware, as you say, get people talking about it.
Yeah.
And what would you like to do? Would you like to, you know, go to schools and colleges like we were talking? Perhaps they would take on the calendar. Have you got any ideas?
What I would love to do, and I apologise to the girls because I haven't told them yet.
Be ready.
Bated breath.
I would love to next year be able to put into place a scheme with local schools in Warwickshire, where the girls from the calendar go into the schools to talk to the children, actually show them their picture in the calendar. There'll be giggles, there'll be laughs, people won't know where to put themselves. Yeah. But maybe if, you know, at least 2 of the children in the school hall will look at the pictures and go, okay, and listen to what the girls have got to say, we might get somewhere.
If it stops one more child being bullied, it'll be worth it completely. You know, just helping one child out would be well worth every minute.
Well, I wish you all the success with it, Harvey. Wonderful. And you're going to have to come back now because I need to know who the guest is.
Of course.
And show us the calendar. But wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break now, but come back and join me in just a minute. Welcome back. I'm now joined by Sarah Bryan, a young innovative designer who's designed a handmade poppy dress to raise awareness for the Royal British Legion. Sarah, welcome back to Cuppa TV.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a while since you were on. In fact, it was when you had your skittle dress. You designed your skittle dress, which I think was earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
So Sarah, what brings you back to Birmingham? What's been happening?
Well, I've been making a dress out of about 3,000 poppies to raise awareness for poppies and help the heroes.
Wow,
and the poppy appeal.
And when you say you say it like it's just a casual thing, you're very innovative with your designs, Sarah, aren't you? So we had the Skittles dress. So for those viewers who don't know anything about the Skittles dress and perhaps missed that show, just tell us about that one.
Well, I started making it over a year ago now, and that was for a beauty show in Manchester. And you didn't have to make your own outfits, but I decided that I wanted to, and then I did some research to see if it had been done before, and it never had done, so I started making it, and I didn't realise how big it would be in the media, and it was just everywhere.
It really took off for you.
Yeah.
And how many Skittles did you use making that dress?
I think that was about between 3,000 and 4,000.
And you lost a couple of teeth, I remember, when you were doing the interview.
Yeah, only one, but
from obviously eating and put one on. So, but from that dress, though, which was a huge success, and where did that dress eventually end up going to?
Ripley's Museum in America.
And how did that make you feel, Sarah, knowing that your dress was on the other side of the world?
Amazing. Yeah. And because the reason why I did it to auction for charity for my foster mum, that was her favourite place where it went as well, so.
Oh, so it had a very happy ending.
Yeah, it did.
So this one though, let's talk about this one. So start at the beginning. Why poppies? What made you think about putting a dress together made of poppies?
Well, I think mainly because of the charity. I was thinking which charities could I help, and then I kept on seeing just like inspiration every single day, and the poppy wave that they had in London, that was a big success, and just quite a few different things really that I'd just seen, and it kind of just came to me like the other strange ideas too.
And then what did you do? Did you contact the Royal British Legion?
I did, yes. I contacted them and asked them if they could donate, and when I spoke to Skittles when I was making that dress, they wasn't too keen until the media attention, so I was quite worried and a bit nervous about ringing them.
That they
and
wouldn't
also
actually give them
yeah, I
to
felt
you.
kind of mean as well, you know, asking for them to give me them. But they were really nice, they were amazing, and they donated 1,000. I didn't think it'd take more than that, but it obviously did, and
It
they kept
did.
sending them out, so they were really nice, they were really
Amazing.
good.
And we're going to be showing some images of those later to see the actual dress itself. But so again, how do you start? So how does that all start? So you've got all these poppies arrived. So where do you start?
Well, I had to make the base first, obviously, so I was just thinking up styles. This dress you can actually mix and match with other small items that I've made from poppies. So it's not just one dress.
Is it in two parts?
Yeah, it's in two parts, but then I've got another piece so you can wear it as like 3 different designs, 3 different outfits, so it's a lot different this time. But I think it's just finding a style and a design, and because it's poppies, I wanted it to be elegant and like a big dress again. And last time I came on Cuppa TV, when you actually asked me about what I'd thought of, I did know then, because I remember saying it's
Yes,
you can't
said
eat it, so
that's
I
right,
did
yes.
know then that
You
it
had
was
it in
going to
your
be that one.
mind.
Yeah.
So how do you actually start putting it all together? So do you just lay out the poppies and then do you start with the top? How does it work?
I started with the bottom part, which was again wire and material, and I started putting the poppies on, gluing them with the hot glue gun, and then as I was going, styles would change with it, so I had to cut pieces and just for it all to mesh together really. So even though I had an idea in my head, it always changes.
As you're sort of creating the dress. But then I suppose that's the creativity of being a designer.
Yeah, it is.
And when you're putting it together, do you have an idea in your head of the shape, or again does that just form as you're making it?
Well, ideas in my head and reality are usually really different. But the idea that I had it is kind of similar, but obviously I had to trim round parts.
Because it has a very long trail, this one,
yeah,
doesn't it?
It does, and the base, it was quite puffy. So because the poppies, if you move it, you can see some white bits, and I've made that specifically so you can transport it, but they just need tweaking round. So yeah, I just had to see how I went on as I was making it.
Yeah.
Really.
And I mean, it's a beautiful dress, Sarah. And I mean, you've got it now, and you've been to the Malmaison today.
Yeah, we have.
So you've been for the press launch of that today. So tell us, how did that go?
It went amazing. It was real good. It was really strange that all these people had come to see something that I'd made, and I still can't get my head around that really.
And it's on display there now, isn't it?
It is, yes.
How long will it be there for?
It will be there for 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks, so
think.
people can come and see it from all
Yeah,
over.
yeah, people
And I
can
know
come
that
and
you've had
see it.
interest already, haven't you, from people wanting to come and see it. How does that make you feel, Sarah, as a designer?
I don't know, it's all surreal really. I think like with the first dress that I did, all of the publicity and everything, and I don't know, I make something and then I think I need to work on confidence really. I see bits of something that I make, whereas people see overview full, whereas I don't. So I mean, I know they're amazing, but it's just really strange that I've done it.
Yeah. Do you feel sort of, when it all comes together, do you feel, oh, I can't believe that's me, I've done that, I've put that together?
Yeah, definitely.
And when you saw it today, because obviously it's displayed today, so people are going to be looking at it, was it as you thought it was going to be, the finished product? Are you pleased with it?
Yeah, I am pleased with it. I tried not to think about it all until last minute because I didn't want to get scared or nervous, so I tend to do that, just wait until last minute, and then I just get really overwhelmed.
Yeah. And how was the reaction at the press release today? How did it go?
It was amazing. It was good. We had quite a few people come, and we did a few interviews and things.
And did they like the dress?
Yeah, they did. And it's in the lobby, and the colour is already red and black, so it's just fitting. It's like it's meant to be there.
Meant to be there, yes, because the colours. And I mean, when you've left that, obviously you've left that and very kindly come to us today, which is wonderful. And what do you do now, Sarah? Do you think, oh, that's it, and are you already thinking of the next one? How does it work?
I've always got silly ideas in my head, so.
Have you got something that you're thinking of already?
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to share?
No. I will do.
Yeah, and come back. You have to come back again. Yeah. But so as a designer, as a young designer, Sarah, how difficult is it for you to sort of, to put all these things in places? Because your dresses aren't traditional dressmaking. You do completely different designs, very unique designs. Is that something that you strive to be, something different and unique?
Yeah, I always like being different. I don't like really being the same. But this time I have my agent Barry to support me, and he's been amazing, and he sorted all of this. So I didn't have that with my Skittles dress, so I am really proud of him. He's done an amazing job with that.
So it's somebody who supports you, and then you can. Do you think that's important, that you've got that support system around you?
Yeah, definitely. It's really important.
So your dresses are very unique, as we've said. Is there anybody that you'd like to see your dresses be worn by?
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I think you said that last time, actually.
And Miley Cyrus as well. She's quite different in her outfits.
And when you're putting them together, because you've got a beautiful dress on today, and when you're putting them together, is it something that you just always want to make something completely different, or do you think you'll ever make something more mainstream, what we call mainstream fashion? Will you always stay with that uniqueness?
I do make children's dresses, mainly for my daughter, so I have tried that, but I haven't used a sewing machine. Everything that I've done to date is always
everything's
by hand.
handmade.
Yeah.
And how many glue guns did you use to put the poppy dress together?
It was about 300 glue sticks, so it was quite a lot. But as the glue gun's on, the glue is constantly melting, so you've got to be quick.
And did you transport it okay? Because obviously getting it from A to B, was that okay?
Yeah, it was fine. It looks really delicate, but it's not as delicate as it looks.
It's quite hard.
It's really good.
And tell us just a little bit more about you, the Sarah Bryan. So Sarah, your background, I think you spoke about it before when you came on the show before.
Yeah.
Has that made you who you are today? Is that why you want to do something so creative and different?
I think so. In my background, I never really had a normal upbringing or a normal background, so I guess that's what's made me not so normal now.
And is that something you're always going to be? Do you think you'll always be something different?
Yeah, I think so.
And when you're, for the future, how do you see the future?
I don't really know, just take everything as it comes. I do have ideas and plans, but so far to date, not many of those go as far as I'd hope, so I'm hoping with a few ideas to progress.
And what about the poppy dress? What's your hopes with that?
Well, mainly I want to raise money for the poppy appeal, and then, like I said, to auction it off at the end. I think that's the main thing that's most important, and for younger people as well. They'll see this dress and they'll want to know more and more about poppies, so I think it's educating as well. Yeah,
because you're going to raise awareness, but also you've got this amazing design.
Yeah.
And do you see yourself, being a designer and working, in London or wherever, other parts of the world even, doing what you do now? Do you see yourself doing that in the future?
I don't see myself doing it, but only because I don't see myself doing anything really, because I don't know what direction life's going to take me in, so I just kind of go where it takes me really. I mean, I'd like to continue designing and make big pieces for celebrities. I'd also like to make something for a big event like the Brits, or something like a big kind of a design, but not to wear, as like a centrepiece, something
to be displayed, maybe more.
Yeah.
And,
like that.
and how do you think England, treats young designers like yourself? Do you think this is a good place to be as a designer?
I think so. I mean, we are small on the map compared to America, but there has been quite a few good creations in England. I think it's who you know and what you know and who you're willing to help, and it's hard if you're doing it yourself, you know, with funds, if you don't have a lot of funds, like 300 glue sticks, that's a lot of money.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, you self-fund all this, don't you, Sarah? You
Yeah.
self-fund everything that you do.
Yeah, but obviously they donated the poppies, but the materials for the dress and the glue sticks and the glue gun. My boyfriend's dad actually bought me a joke Christmas present, which was a glue gun, but it was actually really useful.
Did you use it?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I used for the last dress.
Oh, fantastic. And I mean, when you're doing your designs, they're very unique, that goes without saying. Do you think that there should be more people like you in the UK that are designing like that? Or do you think, you know, obviously for you it's quite good, yeah. But you have your ideas though, but they're very special ideas though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you worry though that, you know, that will become, because dresses, we were talking about vintage dresses on shows on Cuppa TV, there's certain fashion will just continue to be evolving really. Do you think something like your style will be something that will become mainstream?
I think there's always something in the world that's never been done that needs doing, and that's where I am.
Yeah. And what sort of designers do you look to? Do you know, when you're looking for inspiration maybe, or whose work do you admire? Is there anybody in particular?
Not really. I don't really find inspiration from other designers. I mean, on Twitter there's a few at Liverpool Fashion Week that I've seen, like some of their clothes and some of their designs are amazing. But it's always something that's not been done with me before, so that it just comes from my head, not from somebody else.
And that's very important to you,
Yeah.
isn't it? And tell us a little bit about your background, Sarah. Tell us where, you know, how you got to be here as a designer.
Well, it was starting making the Skittles dress really because I'm a qualified beautician, so I was entering the beauty competition, and that's where I started doing that. But when I was younger, I did actually make outfits just like with bits of material, and when I went on holiday to Spain, I got the white bed sheet off and made a halter neck dress and put a belt around it and then went out.
Oh, someone great to have around when there's a party. Quick, go to Sarah. But I mean, again, you know, you had an unusual background and it's kind of put you in good stead, would you say, for what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember a lot of my younger past because I was in different foster homes, so I can never really place somewhere apart from my foster mum who died of cancer last year, where I spent 5 years there. So that's where I've really been brought up and got inspiration for life. Everything else I don't really remember.
And when you're designing, do you take yourself away? Do you do it quietly because you have children, or do you just have to do it, the hustle and bustle of family life?
My poor son, for the past year, he's got the biggest bedroom in the house, so I've been using his bedroom. But I do mainly do it at night, but it's quite an emotional journey because it's the only time that I get to think. So I was messaging Barry about the dress, my agent, and there was times where I was sat in tears because things have been happening, and it's just a lot of thinking time that you get. And when I did the Skittles dress in the media, some people were really mean, saying get a real job or get a job, or someone has too much time on their hands, or what do you do with your children? And it's actually mainly when they're in bed, and even if I've been working in the day, I'd do it in the evening time, so I'd just find spare hours to do it.
Why do you think they are? Why do you think they're mean?
Somebody has to be.
Yeah. And I mean, you've come through that, and you worked through that, and you've continued to do so. And as I say, you lay everything down. So when you're putting things together, though, like you've got another idea you're talking about.
I've got a few ideas.
Do you collect it all and then just see images and things around you to make you think, oh yes, this might work with this, or
yeah,
how does it work?
it's just like everyday inspiration, really. I'd see something and then think I could make something out of that. Not necessarily just dresses. But a lot of the time when I go to bed, you know, when you're in the half awake, half asleep zone, that's kind of where I get ideas from. So I've got a little notepad next to my bed. So if I think of something, I just write it in there.
Sit down. And how do you do it in your house? I mean, you said about your room, but I mean, this poppy dress, going back to the poppy dress, it really does have an enormous trail. How long is the trail?
I think it's about Just under 5 foot.
Right, so that's
Yeah,
a that's
so
a
it's
lot of
quite
that's a
long.
lot. So again,
Yeah.
do you just do that in that one room?
Yeah,
Move
just in
everything
that,
around.
Well, it does have a really big room.
Yeah.
So that's why it was done in there.
And for the future, you've said you've got other ideas.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself doing something completely unique for perhaps a celebrity guest? Is that what you'd most like to do?
Yeah, I would really like to do that. There's quite a few things that I'd like to do. Like, I originally went to college to do drama and to do acting and dancing, and I'd really like the opportunity to go into that. I mean, it was a long time, but I've done quite a bit of theatre work and things, and I'd like to do something in that area as well.
And what did you do in theatre, Sarah?
Well, I did lots of theatre work, real life dramas. I used to volunteer for Bernardo's Young Families, and they knew these people called HQ Arts, so they'd go around speaking to people that have had experiences, and they'd gather the information, and then they'd make like a script from it, and then we'd travel to different venues and do things like that.
Well, maybe you could combine the two.
Yeah.
You design your dresses perhaps with
I know
that.
there is lots of things that I'd like to do, so
Is there anything stopping you from doing those things?
no.
So there we are. So you can do it. But when you're, thinking about things, you've got your notebook by your bed.
Yeah.
Do you think about doing some men's clothes, or you do children's clothes, don't
Yeah.
you? So is it? Would you tend to just stick perhaps with the the women's
No, I've
couture?
had men's ideas as well. I've had lots. But obviously I don't have enough space to be doing all of this.
Would you like your own workspace, your own workshop? Is that what you would really like? Would that be ideal
I like
for
doing
you?
creative things like cakes as well, designing cakes. I can do that.
So very creative.
I can do lots of different designing things, and I really enjoy doing it. And like I said, it's time to yourself, and it's thinking time, even though it's not always good thinking time. I'd like my own space to do things like this.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the dress is I'm sure it's going to be a huge success, Sarah, but you've left it now at the Male Maison,
Yep.
and it's going to be there for 3 to 4 weeks. What are your expectations from it, though? Following everybody's going to come. I mean, loads of people will be coming to see it,
Yeah.
and from all over the country. So
I want lots of people to come and see it, and I want them to just really enjoy it, and to raise more awareness and to raise funds for the charity as well. And just see how it goes from there. But I do want people to know more about the charity and what they do, and because they're amazing, and it's like 100 years, like this for 2 years and then 2 years forward. I don't think there's enough out there about it, and it's British, isn't
yes,
it? It's
yeah.
something
But I mean,
we
you've
should-
got some perfect things coming up, because the Male Maison have got a dinner, haven't they, on the
Yeah,
8th of
they have.
November,
Yeah.
and of course that's Remembrance Sunday as well. So it's a perfect time for you
Yeah.
to have done this dress, and I'm sure they were very supportive of it. So I wish you all the best of
Thank
luck,
you.
Sarah. Thank you so much for coming and joining us again, and come back again when you've
I
got
will
your
do.
next one. Thank you. So that's it for today. I'd like to thank all of my guests, Harvey, Rachel, Joanne and Sarah, for joining me here on Cuppa TV. Please do get in touch with the show, and you can do that by Facebook or Twitter at Big Centre TV. Come back and see me very soon. Bye bye.